Welcome to Creating Connections Podcast, episode number 97. I am Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Certified Personality Trainer Vicki Musney.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
Vicki, what do we have on tap today?
Today, the question is to meet or not to meet.
Ooh.
There has been a lot of discussion lately on the Sales for Event Pros group about whether or not, as business owners, we should require a meeting with the clients that are looking to hire our services.
Now, stop. If you're not a member of Sales for Event Pros, what are you doing? No. All you got to do is hop on Facebook, search Sales for Event Pros. Now, Vicki and I are moderators along with our good friend Jason Spencer. Please have something, event related in your, Facebook profile or title, or email us or something and let us know.
If we can't tell if you work in the event industry, we just won't let you in.
Yeah. If you just have 2 or 3 public posts and say, put a DJ thing up there and you got a name like, I don't know, Nunya Business or something, then we may not let you in.
Off topic for the intro.
Sorry, go.
To meet or not to meet? That's today's question.
Keep listening for more.
That was nice and easy.
What are you talking about? This also speaks to a much bigger issue.
Providing personal solutions through understanding people. This is the Creating Connections Podcast with Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vicki Musney.
Welcome back to the podcast, and today we're talking about to meet or not to meet. What do you do?
It was interesting to me to see how many separate conversations that overlapped with this topic. Someone would start a thread on the Facebook group about one thing, and this would come up. And then somebody else would share a similar situation, and this topic came up. And I said, I think this is something we need to talk about on the podcast. One member shared in particular that he had hired a business coach that said, you have to require a meeting, blah, blah, blah. And he required a meeting for every single one and could actually document how many events he didn't book, how much business he lost by making a hard and fast rule. There are some people that are, way on the other end of the spectrum. I guess that's the spectrum, is I don't have to meet with them. They can just call me, book over the phone, to I require a meeting with, everybody that's a decision maker present, or somewhere in between. I think that's really what we're looking at here, is where people fall on the spectrum.
To me, this absolutely depends on your business and what are you offering. If you're
and what your goals are.
Yeah, and what your goals are for your business. If you're a florist and you're producing, flowers for an event, well, depending on how you're producing flowers for an event, if you're going to be working one-on-one very closely with that client to create the beauty that is that space that day, and you're investing hours and hours and hours with them, you might want to meet just to make sure that you like each other and that you can get along and that you can deliver what that person wants for an outcome. If you are more on the end of, I'm in the middle of the road for pricing, I'm average at where I'm at for pricing, and there's nothing wrong with that business model, but I'm churning out a product. This is what I churn out every single day, every single time. A meeting may not be necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of those are okay business models. We are not here to slam any business model whatsoever.
But I think that's what I want people to hear, is beware of advice that includes words like always or never, because we want you to think when you are getting business advice, whether it's from our show or just someone that you talk to or other people that you talk with online in the Facebook forum or something like that, or you're hiring a coach.
Right.
You need to always filter it, because yes, it's good to go seek expert advice from a sales expert, a marketing expert, a communications expert, a business coach. But you have to be the expert on your business. You have to know what your goals are. And I know for me, my business model is very different from Mitch's, and very different from Jason's and very different from lots of other people that I work with.
Matt Radicelli, we had on last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for me, in my business, because of my wedding business is only one of 3 businesses, I extremely limit the number of weddings I do. I am not booking for other people, my other talent. My other staff only do my weekly trivia events. They don't actually do weddings or the bigger events for us.
Right.
And so for me, I'm extremely selective. They may contact me thinking they are interviewing me to see if they want to hire me. They may not even realize I am doing the same with them. If I don't like them, if I don't want to spend 20 to 40 hours with them or thinking about them, I won't book them. That's me.
And I am of that same mindset, but to a little lesser degree, because we run a boutique multi-talent company here in a very small town in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So I still have 9 mouths to feed, essentially, in this company. And so what I have to do is still be selective. For me, it comes from the central point, and I've talked about this in seminars, but sum tertius, I am third. And if you always put your client's needs ahead of your own, and you're making sure that you are a right fit for them before taking on the event, because I hear from event professionals all the time when they call me with questions or coaching or whatever the case may be. I was like, well, it's like a week before the event and they don't have their stuff to me. And it's like, a lot of these problems could be solved way before you get to that point. So the question to meet or not to meet really is an individual answer. It's your own individual answer. And as Vicki said, be wary of people who say always and never, because every situation is unique.
I want to make sure we're trying our best to give a pretty balanced view, because some of the issues that come up are, well, we're dealing with millennials. They want to meet or not meet on their time schedule. Some of them are very clear. I just want you to email me. I'm out of town. I work funky hours.
Right.
And those are often valid reasons. I think there's a difference between a reason and an excuse.
Yes.
Some of them are excuses because they're just price shopping. Some of them are legitimate reasons. So just to present a balanced perspective, what's your take on those types of situations?
Well, you need to definitely differentiate between an excuse and if it's valid or not. I mean, I have one right now, in fact, that had to cancel for a meeting tomorrow because she wasn't coming into town. So that's fine. I may give her a call back here and say, hey, you want to do a virtual meeting? And it's why I think you and I preach so much about the search part in the sales process with, understanding and researching clients in advance before they even come in the door. And I just had one recently as well that without gaining some information on the front end, I may have prepared my pricing sheet and emailed it to them, and they may have been turned off because now I know that she actually has connections to a photo booth company. Why am I sending her, photo booth stuff when she already has a connection to photo booths? You know what I mean? So it's why we preach the search part of the sales process, researching your client in advance. It's why we preach that you need to come to it from a standpoint of serve, help, versus price, puke.
But bringing it back to meeting.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It is. It's a bigger issue, and there's lots of specific circumstances, and I know we can't hit them all. But I guess to define meeting, in my opinion, should not have to mean you have to be in a specific location at this exact time, all parties present. I did it recently where I met with the wedding planner and the groom at a coffee shop in between where all of us live and work. And then the bride joined us through FaceTime because she's in dental school in Las Vegas, which is a 9-hour drive from where I am. And so that to me was enough of a meeting for me to get a taste for her personality and how we would interact, and if it was a conversation I wanted to continue beyond or not. And
to me, a meeting is any set aside time that both of you are devoting to understanding each other better and to see if you have the right fit for them and if they're a right fit for you.
And I get the millennial mindset that, well, they just want to ask me this and they want to know it now. And while there are lots of people that may be their mindset, I think it's overgeneralizing to say that, oh, well, they're a millennial, don't expect a meeting. No, lots of them are still willing to take time to have a phone call or a virtual meeting or stop by your office or meet you for coffee. So yes, be aware of generalizations that have to do with age and personality. That's another generalization.
Yeah.
But don't feel like you have to lock yourself in to an always or never.
The medium
your goals are and try to treat each client uniquely.
The medium shouldn't matter. It's a phone, even if it's an email. I mean, Vicki, based upon our converting price to meeting webinar, seminar that we developed, that bride was booked and got a meeting through email, and then.
But you still had a meeting.
I did.
You had a lot of information that was exchanged via email, but you still met before either one of you committed.
Yeah.
A locked-in contract with a big dollar amount, which is what for an important event.
Yeah,
which is what we're dealing with. And for me, and again, this is just through my lens of my personality and my priorities. If they don't have the time or won't make the time to actually have a conversation and make an informed decision on if we're a good fit, then I can tell you we're probably not a good fit, and I'm okay with that.
Again, it depends. Are you managing
the hard
volume?
way. We've booked weddings for other things. I shared this one on one of the comments on a thread recently about a wedding that my husband booked to do video. The bride hired us. It was all over the phone. The wedding was in Vegas.
Yeah.
We flew him down there, and when he got there, that's when he found out that the groom did not want a videographer there. He was hostile. He pushed him. He shoved him. He swore at him. He flipped off the camera. And then later, my husband had to go back and explain to the bride when she would say things like, we didn't get quite as much footage as I was expecting. And not trying to cause a conflict between the two of them, he was in a really weird spot to not want to say, well, your husband didn't want me there. Like he was.
At that point, I would give her the raw footage.
And
of the husband flipping off the videographer and like, hey, this is why you didn't get footage.
From that, my lesson from that is I don't want to be in that situation.
No, I get that.
And I know that was an extreme example, but I would rather just be confident going in that we are a good fit, that we all like each other. We're going to spend a lot of time, whether your services require preparation before, like the entertainment, the DJ, the planning side, and cake creation or whatever it is, or whether it's after the fact with photography and videography where you're doing a lot of editing and post-production things. I don't want to invest a lot of energy and time in an event that with people that don't want me there or that don't value what I do or don't really want to collaborate to make something great. Because if I'm limiting myself to a certain number of weddings a year, I get to be picky. I don't want to, I don't want to waste one of those events and all that time and energy on someone that doesn't care.
Yeah. And again, it depends on your business model. I don't think the medium has to be an in-person. With today's technology, there's a lot of options to go with. And again, be wary of always and never. But ultimately, you should come at it to a point of serving however you communicate your price, however you want to get to a meeting, however you want to get to a booking. It needs to be from an attitude of service. How can you serve?
And the goal of creating a connection.
And sometimes that is turning down the event, and that's okay. You know, just because you meet doesn't mean you're going to book everyone. I don't book everyone, you know.
I don't want to.
So that's today's podcast, Creating Connections, episode number 97. I am Gittimer Certified Advisor, Mitch Taylor.
I'm certified personality trainer, Vicki Musney.
So you've heard us talk a lot about Mobile Beat Las Vegas, yada, 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 come to our workshop and all that stuff. We have some big news on the horizon personally for this podcast.
I don't know if any of you actually listened to the very beginning when we introduced the episode number, but we've been counting pretty high lately, and we are rapidly approaching our 100th episode.
Yes, rapidly approaching 100th episode with a very special guest.
I'm so excited for this episode, and we're not even going to tell you who it is that we have scheduled yet. So keep watching, keep listening, stay with us, and
subscribe, link below, comment, link below. Any comments you have, we'd love to hear from you. What would you like to hear on an upcoming podcast? What would you like to get for content here? We'd love to hear from you.
And if you're listening on iTunes, go ahead and leave us a review there too, because I know some people like to watch the video format and some of you are just listening through that. So we want you to be able to interact with us on the platform that you prefer. So
yes, absolutely. Thanks again for watching. This is Creating Connections for Event Pros Podcast. We provide personal solutions through understanding people better. See you next time.
Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Creating Connections podcast with Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vicki Musney. For more information on providing personal solutions through understanding people better, visit creatingconnections.biz.